before we start this week's podcast, unfortunately, we have to mention two people attached to the Doctor Who universe that sadly passed away this past week. The first was Bob Baker, who had a major hand in the creation of K9. He had a major hand in the creation of K9. I don't know which episodes he wrote for. Maybe Fred can help me out there.
He's wrote in the latter episodes, along with his co-writer Dave Martin. Some of the ones we covered on the show are Claws of Axos, The Three Doctors, The Armageddon Factor, and that's all I can remember for the time being. But there's a lot more. They had a long career together.
But sadly he's no longer with us, and that was on Friday. And then on Sunday we lost Clifford Rose.
Veteran actor, but in the Doctor Who world was known for playing Rorvik in Warrior's Gate, which happens to be my favorite Tom Baker serial. We've done an episode on that. He played a pretty fantastic villain.
He was great. Piece. He really was great in that.
And also K9's in that episode.
And he kicks him.
And he kicks him. And one of his lackeys throws K9 out a spaceship door. There's some wild shit. So if you want to pay tribute to Bob Baker and Clifford Rose, watch Warrior's Gate. You know. Yeah. But rip in peace.
And we do extend our sympathies out to their families and their friends at this sad time.
Yeah, it's like celebrities are so far removed from us that it's kind of hard to feel, like personally sad. It's like you're always like, oh no, they died. That's horrible. But I have to say that Bob Baker is one of the few celebrities that actually really hits me on a personal level.
Don't you have his signature?
Yeah, I have a book with his signature in it.
Well, there you go then. You do have a connection to him.
There's
in a way. But it's like he made something I genuinely enjoyed doing or enjoyed watching. And, if it wasn't for him, then we wouldn't have all the jokes that we have on our podcast. So it's just a personal level, and it doesn't feel great.
Yeah, I know.
So in the spirit of that, I'm not going to go too off the deep end with the intros here, so don't worry about that. But anyway, I'm joined by my two usual co-hosts. Firstly, to my virtual left, he is the newly crowned champion of Street Fighter 2. It's Freezing Inferno.
Newly crowned champion. I got one credit clear.
It was amazing.
I'm not going for the crown just yet, but it was still a pretty good run. That we'll link down below if you want to see me. I beat the original arcade Street Fighter 2 on the default difficulty, not jacked up to like the hardest difficulty. Did it on default in one credit with Chun-Li, the strongest one in the world. One of the hardest fights in the game was Vega, which I know put a smile on Rainiac's face.
Oh yeah,
because that's Rainiac's main.
Yeah, Vega is my.
He's coming for you next, Donkey Kong man. Watch your high score.
Billy Mitchell.
I am having nothing to do with Billy goddamn Mitchell.
Billy Mitchell, noted AEW personality.
Oh, we're gonna do this again.
No. We did that last time.
And then suddenly Frez appears on the top corner and he elbow drops Billy Mitchell.
My God!
Randy Savage did it better. And to my virtual right, so I'm not accused of forgetting who she is this week. To my virtual right, when the aliens invade, she'll be first in line with the frying pan. It's Kat.
Let's do this shit.
Okay.
Okay. Was that the soundboard, or did you really have a drink ready?
No, she opened the can.
I really did have a drink ready.
She opened the can for sure.
Holy shit. Now we're involving props. God, Cat can't be stopped. So, Flux, Chapter 2, War of the Sontarans.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Not what I thought it was going to be at all.
You can pretty much see, I've wrote about this, and again, we'll plug more of my content down below. My first impressions review of War of the Sontarans can be found in the description. This definitely is an episode that was written as a standalone, and then once COVID hit and plans changed around and Chibnall decided on the whole Flux thing, this does feel like it was retrofitted in. Like, it could be its own episode. You rearrange some stuff, you change the B plot out for 15 minutes of other stuff, and you've got yourself a standard Doctor Who episode, really.
So what you're saying is if we go back and we remove all the trial scenes, it'll be its own episode.
Bitch!
Oh my god.
Oh no!
If you remove all the stuff that happens with Yaz, yeah, actually yes.
Oh god, and isn't that just the most...
How funny! He finally gives her a fucking character, and guess what? She could be removed easily from the story and not affect anything.
Oh
Thanks,
no!
Not even going to talk about the cliffhanger just yet. We'll get to that.
No.
Yeah. So, War of the Sontarans, Chapter 2. There's a lot to talk about here. So,
yeah.
Let's see. So, first of all, we have the resolution to our cliffhanger, which... Should we talk about the article here, or should we wait for the actual cliffhanger to War of the Sontarans?
Let's wait to the actual cliffhanger, but...
Wait, we're teasing. There's a little something for you to look forward to. So, last week's cliffhanger, the Flux was coming into the TARDIS. It was the end of the universe. Everything was gone to shit. How are Doctor Who and friends going to get out of this one? They just sort of do.
Yeah, they are, is the answer. They're alive.
They just
sort of appear, and
like
Jamaica.
Not to give too much away for when we talk about the other side of the cliffhanger game, but the idea of the cliffhanger is not if Doctor Who and friends are going to get out of it, but how.
Yeah.
And the idea of playing with the cliffhangers is, you're in this state of temporal grace and you're wondering, well, how are they going to get out of this one? Maybe they can do this, maybe they can do that, maybe they'll use this thing, maybe they'll bullshit this up. And it's a fun little game that you can play with coming up with an answer. So having the answer be, they just do, is kind of a little deflating.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all artificial bullshit anyway, because there's no real danger, but it's fun to come up with a good answer, a satisfying answer. Like, we've watched a lot of Classic Who, and we've seen a lot of satisfying cliffhanger resolutions, some not so satisfying cliffhanger resolutions. I would call this not so satisfying of a cliffhanger resolution.
I mean, with all this stuff about the TARDIS going on, they could have just done something where, like, the TARDIS is the reason that they got thrown back in time. Like maybe the exposure of the time energy and the combination of the flux and everything caused the TARDIS to go into third gear or something and throw itself back.
Yeah.
Which you could easily bullshit is what actually happened, but I mean, write that, Chibnall. We talk about writers gotta eat, but in this case it's Chibnall going like, oh, writer doesn't need the extra Wayfair thing.
Hey, Chibnall, how are we going to resolve this? How are we going to get, the Doctor, Yaz, and Dan to this place?
They just are. So, should we talk about that weird shot right before we find out that the Doctor and co are fine and in a different place?
Okay.
With that house?
Oh yeah, the house on Haunted Hill.
Which, I don't know, I'm sure you noticed this. I'm Googling to get you a ref, but by now, I know you've put it into the story, into the edit here. So, everyone's looking at it. You know what it looks like. What the house looked like. It was all towery. I would like to just link this.
Oh!
That's interesting.
Huh.
Yeah.
So, that's something that is giving me thoughts about where this is going to go, whatever this cryptic thing is. So, as we said, the Doctor and co, they're in a different place now.
Yeah, the TARDIS took the hit from the Flux, apparently. That's the only explanation you get for how they survived.
And whoop, whoop, bloop, bloop, bloop. It blew them back in time, and now they're in the 1850s.
Yeah. Bang
in the middle of the
Crimean War.
Which, okay, fine. This is where we want to set the A plot. This is what we're going to roll with. So they're just here now, and we very quickly get the big pre-credits sting shot of the episode. Oh, we're in the Crimean War. Oh, look, it's Mary Seacole. Oh, there's Russians coming. Look out. Oh, shit, that's a Sontaran on a horse.
Yeah.
which, as I wrote about, I feel like Sontaran on a horse is like, it's one of those ideas that came to Chibnall's. That'd be pretty funny. I haven't done that on Doctor Who before. I think one of the idea seeds he had when he was coming up with a new Sontaran story, and that just sort of, the story sort of blossomed from that. I mean, you're a writer type, Brainiac. You know how these things go.
Yeah, I mean, Sontarans in the middle of the Crimean War kind of writes itself.
Yeah. So I think that's one of his fun little hooks he had, and he gets a good joke out of it later. It's a good image. I'll give it. It's a good image.
My God, I laughed at a Chibnall joke.
He gets some good comedy in this, actually.
I laughed at a different Chibnall joke. But
oh my God, I know which joke you laughed at, and it was amazing.
I laughed at several jokes in this. That's crazy. Either A, COVID isolation has made us all go mad, and we're starting to actually like Chibnall, or B, he's actually writing good stories now, and I'm deathly afraid of both.
Well, he said 3 years to get it right.
That's sad.
Let's not go crazy. He wrote a couple good jokes. We'll see if he can stick the landing on this before I say that we've gone gaga and we like Chibnall. But we should talk about the Sontaran scheme, which, admittedly, it has very little to do with the Flux. They just sort of used the Flux as their excuse to sneak in and go after their grand plan to take over the Earth.
I actually love this. I love the fact that they had nothing to do with the Flux, but they just took advantage of it.
Yeah,
it's very on brand.
They're master strategists, they're master soldiers. Of course they were going to take advantage of it.
I hesitate to call the Sontarans master strategists.
Well, alright, they think they're master strategists.
Yeah.
They managed to have one good idea.
Well, they have one good idea that they, this is very specific, and I can't believe I'm fucking doing this again, but in Alien Apocalypse podcast, I mentioned how the Flux kind of reminded me of a thing from the Star Trek show Enterprise called The Expanse.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you about an episode of Star Trek Enterprise. The opening to season 4 is a 2-part episode called Stormfront, and the cliffhanger to season 3 is that the Enterprise, it blows some shit up, but the captain gets lost in a thing, and it flings him back in time into World War II, which is currently under attack by aliens trying to subvert history.
Okay.
And it's all part of this thing to change history and take over the world, and so there's a whole bunch of, and there's no other way to say it, evil alien Nazis.
Yeah.
So when I fire up the newest episode of Doctor Who and see that there are aliens who are plotting to change history and go back to an old war in Earth's history to rewrite it and change the future, well, I start having a fucking existential meltdown.
Not an original bone in his body.
Like, I understand that it's got context within the Star Trek episode you're talking about, but just hearing the name Stormfront kind of raises the hairs on the back of my
It was 2005, so it wasn't nearly as a...
I know, but you know what I'm talking about.
I know.
Like, I'm not saying...
I will say one thing that Rain pointed out to me. We won't say what it is, but we were reminded of another TV show that came out this year.
Yeah.
Some of you may know what it is, but we're not going to say it because Frez hasn't watched it yet.
He hasn't seen any of it, so we can't spoil that.
Oh, you were... let me guess. It's one of those Marvel shows that I haven't gotten around to yet.
No.
Huh? Interesting. Well, so
you will see once you are eventually able to watch the thing that we want you to watch.
Okay, that's.
But also, you should probably watch the Marvel shows because they are actually really good.
Yeah, they are.
Maybe one day.
Since you brought it up.
Since I brought it, that was my guess. That's mainly the shows that you've been telling me. Hey, you should really watch this, because otherwise, I can't think of what you've been telling me I should watch that I've been sleeping on.
Yeah, the show is not WandaVision, but you should actually watch WandaVision, so...
Yeah.
Maybe. But anyway, I just wanted to end this little tangent by saying that this arc of Star Trek that ends in this 2-parter, it's called the Temporal Cold War arc. And it had its ups and downs, mostly downs, but I found some interesting thematic resonance with it. So, writing up the phrase Chris Chibnall's Cold War arc hit my head, and it fills me with so much existential dread and horror that going through it and describing exactly why would take several minutes. And knowledge of Star Trek Enterprise as a whole, I'd have to spoil the entire show. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the Sontarans plan instead.
Yeah, and they do get a good... I think they've missed the opportunity for a good joke here, where when they see the Russians, they're not fighting the Russians. This was crying out for a reference to the Rutans.
Oh, God.
It was just crying out for it. It didn't have to actually appear in the story. Because there's a reference to Lynx.
This is
from a 74 John Pertwee story.
Yeah, I mean, and it's weird because let's talk about the. I am honestly surprised that they didn't go for the Rutans because the rest of the story is really quite referential in its classic tone. Because for God's sakes, like the Sontarans, we've done a lot of weird stuff. I mean, we've had the 1-2 part story from the Tenant Years. And then we had Strax, which is less a Sontaran thing, and more just an extended Moffat joke and variations thereon. But now all of a sudden they're back in the series story, and all of a sudden we're all about the Probic Vent. Which,
oh my goodness, yes.
I swear to God is a reference to one of those old Sontaran stories, but I couldn't tell you which one. It might be the Time Warrior, the 1974 John Pertwee story you talked about, but the thing about the Time Warrior is I know I've seen it, but I cannot tell you a goddamn thing that happens in it past part 1.
The Probic Vent is mentioned in a David Tennant two-parter, in the Sontaran two-parter there.
Right, I don't think that the David Tennant era one invented.
No, I'm not saying they invented it, but I'm saying it's not the first time we've heard mentioned in Modern Who. But Sontaran Friendship was what, 2008?
Yeah.
So that's 13 years ago.
I feel old now.
It's a bit of an odd thing to bring back after all this time.
Then again, we talked about this series 12. Hey, remember David Tennant when the show was good? I mean,
yeah,
I'm not going full out on that, but there's a little sprinkle.
But when we get to Dan's exploits, that is basically just Donna's role in the Sontaran stratagem, hugely expanded.
Dan. Oh, Dan.
Dan was fantastic in this.
It's weird because watching it, when you're watching the episode, then they're meeting Mary Seacole, and then all of a sudden Dan starts fading out of existence. I thought at first this was some sort of Back to the Future thing, where oh shit, the Sontarans have perverted history. Dan's never been born.
Same.
That's the exact same thing.
That's a bingo. I thought that as well.
And then when he shows up back in 2021 and there's Sontarans there, where I thought, oh, is this a Back to the Future 2 like thing, where we're in a bad timeline where the Sontarans are oppressive and have ruled Earth for hundreds of years? No, they just landed 2 days ago and you're just like, fuck you.
Yeah, so Dan winds up back in Liverpool rather than fading out of existence, and the timing of this could not have been better because I had to record this episode because there was some football on television that my family wanted to watch.
Uh-huh.
So and Liverpool happened to be playing in that game. They lost 3-2.
Oh no!
And then I turn on Doctor Who, and 50 minutes later, there's a Sontaran spaceship over Anfield, which is Liverpool's football ground. That's why they lost. That's why they lost the game. They were distracted by the alien invasion.
Of potatoes.
Yeah, they were distracted by the alien invasion. No wonder the manager was furious at the end of the match. Anyway.
Where's my Doctor Who football alert?
Oh no.
Goal.
Yeah, that'll do.
Oh, there we go. I don't have to do it now.
Thank you. So then we meet Dan's parents.
Oh my god.
They are the best.
Protect these two people.
Okay, look. For all I've complained about, oh shit, Chibnall shotgunned in another old white man, and you could go, oh great, now we've got the old white man's old white parents, it's just all white all the time. I could say that, but it's not that bad, and also, they're really fucking charming and funny.
Yeah, these two.
I love them so much.
Protect them, they better not die.
I swear to fuck, if they die, I'm going to riot.
No, it's okay, Kat. They won't die, not because his parents aren't gay.
Oh,
true.
no.
True.
How many
The
times?
image of his mom standing there holding a wok, it's like, I like this woman. I like her. I like her.
The what does lead to absolute hilarity later on.
And so we've got Dan infiltrating a Sontaran ship with a wok. And actually, when he's climbing the ladder and you get that shot, did anyone else think of Woman Who Fell to Earth?
A little, but not that
you
much.
know.
No, not really, but
You know, wide shot, industrial crane works by night.
I only really thought of it just now because you said something about it, but it's like thinking about it, I guess. But
I mean, it kind of feels like it. It kind of parallels it. You know what? Close enough. Doctor Who mirror alert.
No, I'm not doing it for that.
no, that's a bit of a.
Well,
That's
I
a
did.
stretch.
Yeah, well, see, the thing is, it's a
Doctor
stretch.
Stretch to mirror alert.
You don't need to hit the button, but also I can do it. Doctor Who mirror alert. Whoop 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 whoop.
Damn it. Yeah, that's about the appropriate response to that. But,
anyways.
Yeah, Dan's antics in Liverpool are a big highlight of the story.
They lead to the best joke of the episode.
It really does. But also
he's
he's already like fit into the companion role 2 episodes in because he's going around taking on aliens with a wok.
There's something very charming.
Yeah, that's very Doctor Who, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan's sort of not a strange kid. Well, maybe strange would be a good word for it because like we've had people in the before, before who were kind of okay with the whole alien thing, but Dan is like really blasé about it, like uncommonly so. And I can't tell if it's some sort of like part of his character where he's trying to be all macho, or if he just really is that unfazed. I mean, what the hell happens in Liverpool?
You don't want to know.
Who knows? He might be used to this sort of thing.
Can we talk about the best joke in the episode?
Yes, we could talk.
Yes,
about
we can.
So,
go ahead.
Dan has infiltrated the Sontaran ship, and there's a space-time Zoom call that links up with the Sontaran ship in 1850 that the Doctor and Mary Seacole have infiltrated. And then he's talking, and he mentions those Sontarans. They're obsessed with Japanese cooking for some reason. I heard one of them talking about tempura commands. Tempura commands. It's so fucking good.
Are we sure that Chimmel wrote this? Because that's a brilliant gag.
Okay, listen.
Is it possible they were saying temporal, Dan?
Okay, look. If we absolutely must have a new old white guy, can we please have more of the old white guy being an absolute himbo?
Himbo?
I think just because of this joke and the other joke, Chibnall, you're gonna get this. And that's all you're getting for right now.
Was that the Citizen Kane applause?
3 Orson Welles claps out of 7.
Wow. Apparently, neither of you have ever played Portal 2.
I played Portal.
Apparently, you haven't watched Citizen Kane.
To be fair, that was 10 years ago.
Very impressive.
Yes.
I recognise that. Yes.
Anyways,
he's right. So yeah, the tempura command bit is fantastic. He gets spotted by a Sontaran. He somehow manages to trick the thing and turn around, smacks it on the back of the probe vent with the pan, and he's very proud of himself. How'd you like that? Pan-fried Sontaran. Now I'm gonna walk right out of here.
And then he turns around and immediately there's 4 Sontarans holding the guns at him.
I love it. Half of Dad's character is just dad jokes. I love it.
Oh, please, more of this. Please,
yes, please.
More of this. Like, he's on track to become even better than Graham for me, if we're talking.
I think he's gonna take a back seat next time out. But when he's featured, more of this, please.
Honestly, I'm kind of hoping that most of his humor came from John Bishop himself because, he is an actual trained comedian.
It absolutely could have done because Bishop is a very funny man.
Good. More of that, please.
Obviously,
More
that's
of
subjective, but I think he's a very funny man. And
But it's like, I am going to say one thing, Chibnall. Just because we're enjoying your old white man does not mean we want more of it. We would like some more good Yaz, please.
yeah, and
Well.
you get that for about 5 minutes, and
Well, there's some interesting stuff going on here.
oh, it's interesting.
And then the ending.
And then the ending.
And then
Which, well, before that, what should we?
Well,
discuss
back in
here?
the Crimean, a bunch of things happen. The Doctor meets Mary. We're introduced to the British Hotel, which we'll talk about more when we talk about Mary herself, because she's a great character as well.
yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
She was a delight. But she's got something hiding in the British Hotel that she doesn't want the soldiers to see.
Well, it's less that she doesn't want the soldiers to see, and more that she is being a doctor.
Technically, she's committing treason, but she doesn't see it like that.
Got Dan Starkey chained up in her back room.
Yeah, she's got not Strax.
Yeah, this was weird for me. Was it weird for anybody else?
What, that she would heal an enemy combatant? Because that's what nurses do.
No, that the Sontaran is basically Strax, but evil.
I
Well,
mean,
they are clones.
they're clones, and
I know, but it still feels weird because every time he talked, I saw Strax.
This is the
And
fourth.
it's like, this is weird.
This is the fourth different Sontaran character he's portrayed.
or
I can't remember the name of the character in the Sontaran stratagem, but he was the second in command. He got killed. Then there was Strax. Then there was the guy that got blown up in Time with the Doctor.
yeah,
And now this character, Sfild.
yeah.
Again, not
I'm still just it's too much Strax. It's too much Strax in that character, and I don't know if that's just because that's how he plays Sontarans, or if it's because it looks like they use the exact same makeup and prosthetics that they use for Strax.
I agree with that, yeah. But so this guy got a cannonball in the back on the battlefield, and Mary was going to take him there to heal him, but he refused treatment and just healed himself, because apparently Sontarans can do that now.
Yeah.
And he's like furious that he's been captured. It's like the ultimate humiliation. But the Doctor does something interesting here. She gives him a chance to redeem himself in the eyes of the Sontaran command by giving him information on the Doctor. Now, she doesn't let on that, she is the Doctor. And it's all a clever ruse because she follows him when he goes to report this information to his ship. But when he gets to his ship, it doesn't go well for him.
No, actually, it goes very well for him.
It goes very well for him because he gets exactly what a dishonored Sontaran wants: an honorable death.
Merciful death.
Yeah.
It's like
I love this look into how the Sontarans deal with their own. Those that have fallen, below the standard of soldier.
they also going back to Star Trek. Basically, every Klingon story ever written.
Yeah, true. Not an original something, it is something. So,
Doctor Who was first.
as
I
you
don't know
rightly
if they
say, Sfild is like saying, I bring information on the Doctor. My source is willing to parlay in exchange for their life, and then he says, "You have done adequately,"
Adequately.
which is a great line. But the best line is when he's about to get shot, and he goes, "Sontar ho."
Sontar. Oh, good God.
Chibnall knows how to write Sontarans. I'll give him that much.
Well, to be
What?
fair, they're just potatoes, so.
Like,
Battle
hang on. I've got something.
I thought you
Alright,
might.
Oh boy.
Let me see if I can find it. Okay,
Battle
here we
potato.
go. Here we go. Chibnall knows how to write Sontaran. Me.
Damn it! I'm trying to give him some credit, and that happened.
He wrote an adequate Doctor Who episode.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I do want to talk a bit about the Sontarans on a more wide spectrum, because Chibnall does this interesting thing with them. It makes them partially comedic and partly terrifying. Like he tries to write a somewhat serious Sontaran at some point.
Mileage may vary on how well he does, because, I mean, it's the fucking Sontarans.
I know, but the people getting shot? Ugh.
Yeah, that was pretty hard hitting.
That scene was shot so well.
It was like, okay, Dan's gonna say, oh, okay, we're going there.
Yeah, they just dead.
If you have any last words, now's the time to keep them to yourselves.
Jesus, it's like a joke. It's like a joke, but also, I guess you could admire the dissonance of it. Like it's a joke, and then 3 people were just murdered.
I think that's what he was going for with dissonance, yeah. But the Sontaran command, well, there's 2 Sontaran commanders because they're in 2 different time
You 3
locations.
can keep your words to yourselves because you are extras and you were not given dialogue.
No, they weren't. And neither were the poor people.
I made it semi-funny again.
Neither were the poor people in the temple. But
All right. So in this scene, your last words are, "I'm gay."
But wait, I've only 2 weeks to retirement and I have a family at home.
And a wife. A gay
Oh no, I wore my
lesbian
red shirt
wife.
today.
Are we going to keep this up every episode of this series, guys?
If Chibnall doesn't stop relying on this goddamn trope, then we'll stop.
Yeah, but he didn't run the trope this time. You just crowbarred it in.
Yeah, true.
You added it. You're the problem here.
He's done it so many goddamn times. We get one free. You know, it's like a Subway card.
Yeah, eat fresh.
Other sandwich chains are available. So, but the commanders. There's 2 commanders. There's Riscor in the present day, and there's Skak in the Crimean War. They're played by the same actor.
Man.
They're played by the same actor.
I'm not apologizing.
God damn it. They're played by the same actor. Jonathan Watson, who I have to give him some credit to the makeup department here, looks unrecognisable. Because I've seen him in other things, and he looks nothing like this. If I didn't know it was him already, I wouldn't have said it was him. So great job there. But he gets a great line when he confronts the Doctor on the battlefield, does Skak. Why'd you pick the Crimean War? Strategic, optimal strategic point. And also, I really wanted to ride a horse.
It's a good line. Also, well, I don't know if there's any other place to mention this, but the fact that when the Doctor's looking at the map and she's like, okay, England's still there, Jamaica's still there, so let's take a look at Rush. Oh.
Yeah, just Sontar,
Yeah.
where Russia and Asia used to be. Or Russia and China specifically.
Well, that's a fucky-wucky with the timeline.
Yeah.
Whoopsie-doodle.
Now see, here's where I have a big question now. Is it now Sontar because the Sontarans went back in time and managed to take over Russia? Or is it now Sontar just because the Flux demanded it be?
I would say the first one, since otherwise they have very little to do with the Flux.
They took over Russia and China themselves. Nothing to do with the Flux.
Yeah, okay.
It was part of their grand plan about making Earth an outpost of the Great Sontaran Empire.
I guess it's just a little up in the air as to exactly how they took over Russia and China so fast.
Well, given their
advanced technology,
given their performance on the battlefield in this story, probably very easy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. I just meant more like, how did nobody notice? Hey, there's Sontarans in this time period, and there shouldn't be.
And I got a bit, heated last week about the Sontaran being Scottish and for some reason, but I figured out it's okay. I know exactly why he's Scottish.
What's that?
Someone spilled some iron brew into the clone batch that he came from.
Oh no, my haggis.
God. Relief.
That's about the most respectful joke I could have done in the circumstances.
Apologies
Well, you are
to
British, so I'm glad you helped.
Wow! Holy shit!
Oh my god!
Look, I've made fun of Americans. I made fun of English. The only thing I haven't made fun of is Canada, but I can't make fun of Canada because the only thing to make fun of is horrible travesties against indigenous people, and I can't do that.
I'm sure you could make a joke about their maple syrup or something, but...
Yeah, but everybody's made jokes about maple syrup, hockey, and, you know, all that stuff. It's not new. It's not
I'll give you a free one, and it doesn't reflect on me because I'm from Newfoundland. We have a completely different set of stereotypical jokes. The word "a boot."
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, Kat, you're saying the joke's not original. What's original about making fun of the British?
Everything. Everybody does it.
But that doesn't make it original. You know what? Let's move on. So.
Well, like you would know anything about original, you steal from everybody else.
Do you know what? Let's move on. Saw it coming, couldn't stop it. Let's move on. Oh dear. Yeah, the Sontarans were okay as a means to an end. They were kind of gotten rid of fairly easily, but we'll talk about that at the ending. But Mary Seacole is a revelation.
Okay, so last week Mike was freaking out. He was like, "This episode was ghost written. Chibnall didn't write it because Yas has a character and all this other bullshit." So I'd like to quote what I said in my write-up about Mary Seacole.
Go ahead.
And I said, "We also have Mary Seacole in the mix. A historical figure and person of color who interacts with the Doctor, has her own agency and vibrancy, whose assistance in the story via her recon mission gives the Doctor the clues she needs to piece together how to defeat the Sontarans, and she doesn't get her memory erased at the end to preserve the sacrosanct arc of history as it should be." Are we sure Chris Chibnall wrote this story?
Is it this one or the next one that he wrote with somebody else?
I think it's going
next
to be...
one, right?
Episode 4. Episode 4 is co-written with somebody else.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's a surprise. Oh, shit. He's learned from his abhorrent bullshit in Spyfall, and he doesn't mind Wipe Mary Seacole, proving, hey, you can have a historical adventure with a historical person without resorting to unethical bullshit. That.
Funny how that works.
To be fair to Chibnall, his historical episodes have typically been his strongest as well. Nikola Tesla and
Tesla.
Demons of the Punjab.
Neither of those were written by Chibnall, I should add.
I said it. Oh, all right. Well, in his. Yeah, all right. Spyfall. No, not Spyfall Part 2 because he
not Spyfall 2.
I'm full of shit.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, he can't even write Yaz, who is an important fucking character in the whole thing. So you know.
Did he write? Did he write Villa Diodati?
No.
Who wrote that?
Oh, what? Oh, God. Who wrote that?
Oh, Maxine Alderson, yeah.
Yeah. He might have had a co-write considering, Mr. Half-Faced Man.
Okay, so I've disproved my own point in real time. That's impressive.
Wow. We don't even... Wow, Kat, this is an evolution. We don't even have to prove Rainiac is wrong. He'll do it to himself on self-reflection.
We're speedrunning this now. We're speedrunning it.
A British man learning self-reflection? Holy shit.
Self-reflection? Does that call for a Doctor Who mirror alert?
No!
Doctor Who mirror alert. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Apparently I meant to say yes.
Honestly, I think it's because you said no so emphatically the cat pushed the button.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe I thought of that?
Next time you're going to be like, yes, for the love of God, have a mirror alert.
Do you think maybe you played right into my hands with that? Do you think maybe I beat the microphone?
You're not going to win here.
Do you think maybe I beat the microphone at the exact moment that could play out? Because that's what I did.
Mary
Seacole. You're just not going to win here. I mean, you're British. You never win.
But Mary Seacole, played by Sarah Powell, she does a terrific job here. And here's where I want to... Well, the women nearly did it. But the women are better than the men. Hot take. Yeah, Mary
really hot
Seacole.
take.
I wanted to show a behind the scenes bit here in regards to her
Okay.
costume. In regards to her costume,
Yes.
there was a very specific choice with the costume and the colours of the costume.
Mhm.
So she was of the period. So crinoline is in, petticoats are in, and they get all that. The bonnet, they get that right, but it's the colouring, and they want to give her colours that were not of the they were not red, white, and blue of the British Empire, but they were exotic colours, if you like, Caribbean colours. And Montserrat's a bit of a rebel and an eccentric, and I think they did a very good job with that. She stands out.
Oh yeah, like the skirt is. There's lots of reds and yellows and stuff in it. I think.
She also gets my second favourite line after Temporal Command.
What's that?
When she's introduced to, I think it says, "Nice to meet you. I have no idea what's happening."
But she's great. She's great.
She is. She sort of fulfills the companion role here.
Well, because we got the other companion split up on their own little plots. Dan is in the A plot ish.
She's brave. She's selfless. She stands up to the Doctor. She stands up to the General.
And like I said, and also she's key to the resolution. Her little recon mission, taking notes.
Oh, please don't say resolution. I still get horrible shivers from that.
Okay. She's
Ending.
yes, the ending. The third act of the story.
Thank you.
There you go. Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, she's valuable there. She's not like it's not like and Mary Seacole is there, and and again doesn't get fucking body wiped. So, what a winner! What a winner!
Best portrayal of a historical figure since Tesla.
Uh,
I mean, unless you're a Florence Nightingale fan, apparently.
I mean, I think that works. I mean, the only other historical figure since Tesla was Mary Shelley and Lord Byron in Villa Diodati, and they were functional.
Yeah, and also
they technically had a character.
At least
technically,
because Mary Seacole really was British Jamaican.
Yeah,
she really was from Caribbean descent. So the fact that she's portrayed by an actress of colour an actor of colour, if you don't like using the word actress, it's right. It's perfect casting.
I mean, look, I didn't know anything about Mary Seacole going into the episode because this isn't my history jam, but I was like, okay, she's of color because the actual historical figure was a woman of color.
She was voted the greatest Black Briton of all time, I think, in a poll, and she has a statue of her outside Parliament.
She was awarded the Jamaican Order of Merit in 1991.
Yes.
Nice. So, all around, a good portrayal of a historical figure in this story.
And they were very keen to get the real Mary, not the caricatures of her that have been written about in books.
Good.
Definitely not the version that any Florence Nightingale fans would be talking about.
I don't know what that means, and I'm not sure if I want.
The fact that Mary Seacole has been portrayed on this show before Florence Nightingale is definitely interesting. Because the Lady with the Lamp is an iconic British historical character, and you'd think Doctor Who would have done something with her by now, but unless they did it in Big Finish, which they might have done.
I mean, I'm not opposed to the fact that a person of color had more,
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But the point is, it's not just enforced diversity, it's just being true to life.
They wanted to tell a story about this historical figure. This historical figure was a woman of color, so there you go.
Exactly. Also, the British Hotel really did exist.
Oh, of course. I mean, I imagine it did. I mean,
she just up to the left and under her own steam went to Crimea, established the British Hotel to help people.
Very nice.
Now, I don't know if whether or not she actually did treat enemy combatants as well. That might be an embellishment for this story, but...
I mean, it's something that gets you to the plot of the Sontarans, so we can, You can allow
the other major English British character in this, not so much.
Oh, General Writer's Gotta Eat.
Oh, General Asshole.
Ah, Doctor, I'm going to stop you from doing anything foolish like resolving the plot half an hour early.
General Hugh G. Reaction.
General waited 2 days after bonfire day to set off the explosives.
Jesus.
So, you know how you're like, oh, the British Empire was bad. Yeah, the British Empire was bad. And here's the proof.
Cat, I want that as a soundbite on the soundboard. The British Empire was bad. Thank you.
It.
Straight from the horse's mouth, that one.
So I'd like to thank Kat for her last appearance on this podcast.
Oh, like you think you can stop me? I'll make my own podcast with blackjack and hookers.
I forget the blackjack.
Man, we really like using that joke, don't we?
Friends, you're invited to my podcast.
Oh. Nice. What are we talking about?
Symphogear and Doctor Who.
So this is literally that.
I'm in!
This is literally that stone cut of The Simpsons where I'm just left with a bunch of Globus monkeys tapping out the words of Shakespeare.
It was the best of times. It was the blurst of times.
Wrong,
you stupid monkey.
Wrong episode, but yes.
Also, Kat, if we were going to do a Symphogear podcast, you'd have to finish season 3.
So, anyways, moving on.
The general perception is that the British Empire was bad. And this general sort of epitomizes it. I wanted him to die.
He did.
I think we all wanted him to die.
Yeah.
But he starts with like this typical army officer and like I'm giving the orders around here. No, you're not, and that's fine. But when the Doctor and the Sontarans are meeting on the battlefield to parley, it's going fine, and then he turns up from behind and puts a gun to her head.
Don't you go making peace with the enemy? I'm going to capture you.
Yeah, this woman does not speak for the British Empire.
I want to have a battle with your forces.
Can we talk about how good Jodie is in this episode?
She's pretty good.
Yeah.
This might be the best she's been as the Doctor.
Ooh,
yeah, holy shit.
That's high praise.
The rage is finally here.
She doesn't really.
Too bad it's literally the last season.
The quiet, indignant, the quiet, dignified, silent rage is here, as it should have been for 2 seasons ago. And my God, she's brilliant at it.
Yeah. Now make her end a capitalist with that quiet indignance, and we're jamming.
Who says she won't next week?
Me! I say she won't next week because it's Chris Chibnall.
Fair enough.
And also we have Cybermen again.
Yeah, that was a bit of a left field.
Don't remind me, but we'll discuss that later. But yeah, so this general, he gets a big battle going between the Sontarans and the British Empire,
and it ends brilliantly for the British Empire.
And the British Empire are massacred. As would happen when bayonets versus fucking lasers.
That's the line from the trailer, isn't it? I accept your offer of a massacre, and a massacre it is. There's a line where they say, "Oh, every single casualty was ours."
And then the guy waltzes back and he's like, "Oh, I've been defeated. Doctor, please help me win."
The son of a bitch played dead.
Damn.
The ultimate shame.
Which is interesting.
Mummy, the mean potatoes destroyed my toys.
Which is interesting to think of the ultimate shame of a soldier in an episode with the Sontarans. There's actually something going there if you're going to make your discount Klingons. There's actually some paralleling, some mirroring. We already hit the button.
Unfortunately, Mark Gatiss did this better than Chibnall did in his Ice Warrior episode.
Yeah, he did.
Because that character was actually somewhat likeable and actually achieved redemption.
Oh, yeah.
This one does not.
I wonder if it was his way of doing like a crude, aliens are more honorable than any of our soldiers type thing.
Possibly. I think we've run the Crimean thing into the ground now, so let's move on to the other major plot. Because, boy, we have a lot to talk about here.
Oh, God, this shit. Okay.
Well, firstly, Vinda and Yaz have been transported to this temple separately.
Temple of Atropos.
Yeah. Vinda wakes up The last thing he knew, he was flying away from the Flux, and he thinks it got him, but it didn't because he's alive. And then he's approached by the diamonds from The Sims.
That's not even close to what they look like. Also, those are called plumb bobs.
Okay.
And the thing that approaches him is a triangle. A pyramid, really.
I thought it looked like the plumb bob from The Sims, but fair enough.
Very.
It doesn't look anything like a plumb
grass
bob, but okay.
And it sounds like John Leeson's voice, but it's not John Leeson's voice.
Not the same thing.
Oh, good, I'm not the only one.
Yeah, I checked the credits. I was like, oh, John Leeson. Oh, it's not John Leeson. What?
Yeah.
Was it someone doing a very good impression of him? Because it was a very good impression of him. If that's the case.
Nigel Richard Lambert.
I mean, we all thought it was him.
Yeah, this is a... So, last time I think I talked about... If I didn't talk about it in the show, I certainly talked about it in my writing. About how the Halloween Apocalypse was all set up, no payoff, all hooks in the air. Maybe they'll pay one or two of those little hooks off in advance to the rest of them.
Oh, hey,
yeah, well, that's
something,
completely out the fucking window because now we're fucking just adding in an entirely different hook.
We paid off the Sontarans, but then added another hook to the pile instead, so...
So I have something I need to tell you both.
Okay.
I looked up the guy who was the priest triangle in this episode.
Yep.
This is possibly something that only Rainiac would know.
Okay.
And this is gonna be a weird tangent, but you'll understand in just a moment. Rainiac, have you ever heard of the Dolmio pasta sauce commercials?
Yeah.
Do you know the Papa puppet?
No way.
Yeah.
What?
He's the voice of that puppet.
And Mr. Curry in the Adventures of Paddington Bear.
What?
Would you like to know the biggest thing, though?
Yeah?
Do you know a Doctor Who story called The Leisure Hive?
Oh, shit, wait, what? The Leisure Hive?
I know that one, yeah.
I definitely know the Leisure Hive.
He plays the character named Hardin.
Good God.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Wow, that's surprising.
Now I know what you're getting at. Okay.
That's
Okay.
who Nigel Lambert is. It's just that he has apparently his full name here rather than just Nigel Lambert.
Yeah, maybe when he's doing voice acting, he uses his full name, and then when he's doing actual acting, it's his shortened name.
I don't know.
That's very interesting. So, this temple thing, we should mention the one really good Yaz moment. Her hand.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
WWTDD.
What would the Doctor do?
What would Terrence Dix do? Oh right, no.
Oh wait, no, that's not what's written on her hand. I got that one off of Something Awful's Doctor Who thread, but yeah.
You know what it should say? It should just say "Be Clara."
Yeah. Well, she's trying to be Clara,
Yeah.
and it's not working out for her.
No.
She
Yeah,
meets up with Joseph Williamson, by the way. We should mention that.
Yeah, that's a weird bit.
We still don't know what's going on with him.
Weird.
Yeah.
Because he sort of shows up muttering about his work, and it's like, what am I doing here? And then Yaz is talking to him, and she doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know what's going on. The audience doesn't know what's going on. Good times all around.
Why
And
in the
then he
name
just
of God? Why in the name of God is Chibnall including this character? What to what end is this going to?
Because he's going to
He
take
just has to establish that this guy exists. He was digging tunnels.
He's going to remove his
and-
Like the
face.
weirdest Chekhov's gun or something.
He's going to remove his face at the end of episode 6 to reveal Session 1.
Oh, for God's sakes! So, this is the
He's
temple
going
of
to
the
reveal. He's going to reveal that he's actually another incarnation of the Doctor.
So-
Again, I said this that anyone could that we meet
Okay,
now
I
could
said that
potentially
as a
be.
joke, but honestly, it might be true.
The
I'm
problem
kinda
is
scared now.
that's the problem with the Thomas Children revelations. Anyone we meet now could potentially be a doctor.
Doyle Williamson is Chris Marshall.
I don't get that joke, but honestly, I'm too terrified.
That's
right now
not
that I
Chris
might be
Marshall,
right.
no.
If Chris Marshall is like every time that people are betting on who the new Doctor Who will be, is like people say Chris Marshall.
Yeah.
He's some white guy.
The actual
I
actor
don't know
is
who the
Steve
fuck he is.
Oram, but I get it.
So
Yeah.
this is the Temple of Atropos, and there's something called the Mori in the middle of them, just like standing around. And honestly, I don't know what to fucking make of this. Do y'all know what to fucking make of this?
No, I don't. But it sounds a bit too similar to Maori.
There's okay. I'm gonna lay my cards on the table here about this. This kind of feels, and I'm not nearly as pissed off with Chibnall as I was for this comparison. This kind of feels like Brendan all over again.
Yeah, yeah.
Where it's like,
Yeah.
instead of paying shit off, he's just passing the buck onto his future self and setting up more shit. And I'm not nearly as annoyed as I am because that was episode 9 of 10, and it's like, okay, now is the time you need to be paying shit off, Chibnall.
Yeah,
But at the same time, you can't help but go, Chibnall, for the love of God, have you not learned from Timeless Children? If you keep deferring the actual payoff to all your intriguing setup to keep us interested, you're just going to end up with an all filler no killer all killer no filler, or all filler no killer.
yeah.
That's what I mean to say. Where it's basically just exposition city like the Timeless Children was, because you ran out of fucking time to actually pay off any shit, and you just had it be monologued to us for 35 minutes. So, like, I'm still hopeful that, I mean, considering the name of the next episode, that we get something to do with whatever the fuck this place is. But at the same time, it's like, Chibnall, you gotta start doing some payoff while you still can, or else you're gonna back yourself into the corner again, and it's gonna make us all the more frustrated.
We've got like what, 4 episodes left?
Yeah.
This is the setup for episode 3, isn't it? This whole thing is the setup for episode 3.
Probably. So
I would like to say one thing that I found after watching this. So I decided to go online and just get some sort of idea of what people were thinking, which I do sometimes, just to feel out how people are feeling about the episode, what they think, things like that. And I found a list of 10 thoughts about this episode. And it's, it starts off with basic stuff, here's the thing where the Doctor can't leave because the TARDIS has no doors, and that's really cool.
oh yeah, we didn't talk about that, but that is actually a really good effect.
Yeah, that's a good
right?
effect.
It's like the camera work was fantastic. But something that the list points out about this whole temple thing, the Moirai are locked in place in the Temple of Atropos like living golden statues.
Oh boy.
They're quantum locked, aren't they?
Yeah, this is where I think they're going. I think this is the origin of the Weeping Angels.
Yeah.
I
That's
am
what
not gonna be
the list
fucking
thinks,
happy if we do the origin of the Weeping Angels.
Yeah, we really didn't need an origin story for them.
It's close enough, though, in my eyes.
We'll see how that goes, but
Yeah,
I mean,
but it's like we know that the statue people are supposed to be very golden in color. They're very, just standing there, and the ones who were quote unquote damaged were very gray in color. It's a little on the nose, and I'm kind of worried that they're right.
Like, I don't think it hits the same sort of big complaints that people had about the whole Timeless Child thing, where it's like, you're answering a question nobody asked. Why?
Yeah. We don't need to know where the Weeping Angels came from, Chibnall, if this is what you're really going to do. Because I know that people said that he was going to do something different with the Angels.
Oh, that's different for sure.
Yeah, it's not necessarily good, but it's different.
Yeah.
I love the temple set.
It is pretty cool.
And the whole idea of the holograms or whatever they are, that they only turn on when they approach them. That's good too.
Oh yeah.
Well,
and,
it's also good for the villains who decide to.
Oh yeah, let's talk about this, shall we?
Oh, it's Swarm and Azure. They're back, and they have a friend who they inexplicably made off screen.
Passenger.
What the fuck is this?
Well,
What?
Passenger is what you get if you order a Doctor Who villain off Wish.com.
Yeah, I saw that one.
No, I'm not joking. I'm not
Yeah,
joking.
I know, I saw that. Put it in the show.
Yes.
Put it in the show.
Passenger's mask is literally available on Wish.com right now for £17. They didn't alter it in any way.
Just say, you know how you said before that they were kind of Thanosing people?
Yeah, the finger
Passenger
snap.
really looks like a knockoff Thanos.
The finger snap, yeah.
We get it, Chibnall. You've seen Endgame.
We get it.
But when the villains are this charming and menacing, I don't care.
Yeah, so
I mean,
just...
Passenger is right now is the equivalent of that bit in The Simpsons where Homer's like, "But Mars, the little guy hasn't done anything yet. You just know it's going to be good."
That's Chibnall's writing to a T, isn't it? But yeah, they show up, they dust the little triangles, and they're like, "Ooh, we're going to have a lot of fun." And Vinder tries to shoot Swarm, but Swarm is teleporting like he's fucking Dracula, like, ha!
And then Azure's like, do me.
Oh my god.
These two are great.
So,
and
they advance on Yaz
great.
and Vinder menacingly, and that will lead to our cliffhanger. But before that, we've got a little wrap-up.
Oh, yeah.
Namely, wrapping up Dan's plot, because we left him surrounded by Sontarans, about to be shot, and who should save him?
The good boy!
It's
Yay!
the good boy! Oh, this is great. This is good. I like this.
I'm glad he showed up again, because he's got a lot more character in this one, and...
Dan and Carver needs to have real good banter together.
They're starting to like each other, I think.
Well, it's still sort of a frenemy situation, but
You're welcome.
it's really...
You're welcome, you idiot.
It's really good.
I also love the whole thing where Dan's like, "I've got a plan," and Carvanista's just like, "No, you don't. I hacked into the message you were sending. I know it wasn't you, you idiot."
Yeah, where's the doctor?
Oh yeah, they set the Sontaran ships to collide with each other, and that's going to cause a temporal implosion thing that'll erase all the Sontarans from this timeline. And then they jump out the waste chute and down into, I guess, the ocean.
Yeah,
and Dan calls Carvanista Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, Chris Chibnall has seen Star Wars because this is literally into the garbage chute, Flyboy.
Oh my god!
Oh god, they're Han and Chewie.
Yeah,
they are.
Yeah, he shoots out a hole through the Sontaran ship and just throws him face first.
It's just now we can actually understand Chewbacca's snark.
And then when they climb out of the pier, and Carpanista shakes himself off.
It's good. It's good.
It's really good.
Also in this scene, we get the official invite for Dan from the Doctor, where she's like, "I'm gonna go find Yaz. You want to come along?"
Yeah, and
yeah, sure.
No hesitation. Something is up with Dan, but we'll find out what that is later, I'm sure.
The TARDIS is also looking pretty icky in this scene, but
yeah,
that'll take him to the cliffhanger. But before we talk about the cliffhanger, we should actually talk about the way the episode climax is resolved.
Yeah, so back in the Crimean War, then the Doctor's got a grand plan. Thanks to Mary Seacole's reconnaissance, if you can call it that, she's figured out that, and this is strange, but the Sontarans need to recharge, I think, every 7.5 minutes, every 27 hours.
Purify the air.
Yeah,
Earth. Yeah.
Basically, they're not used to Earth's atmosphere, and they use a special combination of gas and chemicals to keep themselves from, I don't know, getting the bends or something. So every 27 hours or so, they go into their ship to sleep and refill their suits with this gas combination.
Is that when they need to take the helmet off at every opportunity?
Probably.
No, I'm making a point that if they can't filter the air, and he's taking the helmet off of his filtration system.
If you want to fuck with the logic, ask yourself how Dan Starkey there locked up managed to not fucking suffocate.
True.
Yeah.
Which,
I'm not too interested in doing that, to be honest with you.
Yourself, it's just a show. You really should just relax.
It's science fiction.
Unless, of course, they're frigid gay characters, at which point you should get uproariously angry.
It's science fiction, so yeah, fair enough. But anyway, the Doctor and some living the few remaining soldiers that survived the battle, because one survived the battle because she knocked him out with a Venusian Aikido.
The Venusian Aikido, she just sort of poked her pinky in his
Yeah.
Neck.
She apologizes to him and says, "You'll be alive in 6 hours, hopefully."
Wait, Jesus.
And I think he is one of the three that goes to help her in this scene, but I
They're
can't
going to
tell.
disconnect all the gas supply from the Sontaran ships and make them leave the planet.
Yeah, and Jodie gets a good joke about hitting the road Skak, which is entirely the whole reason why he was called Skak. And I love the bit. It's like it's time for you to retreat, General. Sontarans do not retreat. We shall make a strategic withdrawal.
Dear Jan. And then, in addition to Star Wars and Endgame, Chris Chibnall has seen the Christmas Invasion.
I was going to say this. This is exactly that. The ending of that. Damn it.
Remember David Tennant when the show was
So
good?
the Doctor turns to the camera and says, no more deaths now. And the General says, I'm going to have to disabuse you of that notion, Doctor. And just lights a fuse.
And boom, go the Sontaran ships, and
I thought
He tells them to run.
I thought he was going to sacrifice himself.
No, he's not that brave.
Come on, he is quite obviously a cowardly general.
This is the way he was going to redeem himself. He was going to perish in the explosion and save the Earth. No.
What a cowardly cutlet, am I right?
He's a cowardly cutlet.
Yeah.
No, he gets knocked over by the explosion, but he survives. So Mary Seacole survives, and the Doctor obviously survives because the show's still called Doctor Who. We get a bit of a confrontation between them. He just marches off. But Mary Seacole does say, well, I'm grateful for what you've done, Doctor. Thank you.
Next time on Doctor Who, it's no longer Doctor Who, it's Yazdan get fucked over.
That line, she says, people like you make me wonder what I see in humanity, or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus Christ.
But Mary brings her back
Seacole
around.
Is like,
yeah.
I'm very glad that you see something in us.
Yeah. Mary brings her back around from going full-time with Victoria's here.
Chibnall, have you got some nihilistic shit to work out? I mean, Jesus.
Good God.
Oh, we should probably also mention that when Carvanista destroys all the ships, it completely destroys them from the timeline as well.
This is my problem with it.
So as far as anybody's aware, they've never been there.
This is my problem with it. That I understand why they've done this, because in the end the A plot was not as important as the B plot. But you build up the Sontarans as this big threat, and then they're just gone.
Oh, honey, the Sontarans never were a big threat.
I know, but it happened a bit too cleanly for my liking.
Also, honey, depending on what happens next time in the next episode, it looks like we're going to get some crazy time bullshit.
Yeah.
So I don't think it matters.
But in fairness, and then they're just gone, kind of sums up how Chibnall uses any classic Doctor Who villain, like the Cybermen.
Look, I'm going to make this really easy for you. Chibnall took one look at Timeless Children and all the discourse around that and was like, okay, fine, you don't want me to fuck with the Doctor? Fine, I'll fuck with the entire world of Doctor Who. Time is now evil.
But we have a whopper of a cliffhanger here.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about it.
So the Doctor and Dan go to the Temple of Atropos.
Well, they don't really go, they're sort of drawn there.
All right, the TARDIS takes them there. And we get some major exposition here from Swarm and Azure. They're on the planet Time?
Okay.
Like, Time's a planet now?
Okay.
And they're talking about how the Mori were trying to regulate time, they were trying to keep it in place or something, and they were trying to stop it from leaking out. It's all very weird. It's all very unexplained. Time is evil now.
Time is evil.
Somehow, time has returned.
And then some earlier in the episode, Swarm had actually destroyed one of the Mori placeholders, like just reduced it to dust. It's okay though. He made a short-term repair, and he snaps his fingers, and
Yaz and Vinder. Oh boy.
Yay!
And they've got writing on their faces now, like ancient writing.
Like the Mori did. Oh, so. I think we're gonna bring this up now before we get to the cliffhanger part. Mike had a theory, and yeah, Mike, we're bringing it up now. I decided to bring it up now. I'm gonna spring it on right now. So we were talking about the episode and this thing with the planet Time being evil and all. And he asked me, "Do you remember the frog episode and why the frog couldn't exist in our universe?" Well, Swarm said that time was evil, time's unwatching, and affects and destroys in ages. So Mike says, basically the theory is this. The rock people are time, or what time itself can create. Abominations that destroy and age and ruin and hate. Pure time energy, which is the Flux, very bad. But, remember what Chibnall gave the Doctor? Her brand new name? The name Tecteun used?
Oh, no.
Oh, no!
I don't remember what the name was.
The Timeless Child!
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. The one thing that can go against time.
Time and the Timeless Child.
The one thing that can go against time.
No!
Jeez.
Oh God. There's something that could be going on here.
With great respect to Mike, I hope he's wrong, but I think he's right.
Well, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's what they made of that one, Mike.
And then we get the cliffhanger, and people have really talked about this, but Swarm and Azure, as I say, are great villains. Passenger has done nothing yet. There is a theory that Passenger might be Diane inside that suit.
I don't like that.
Or maybe he's an amalgamation of people they've victimized over the years.
Who knows? But
honestly,
yeah.
I'm starting to think it is Diane, just because that would make sense since she.
That would be Chibnall's MO, you know.
We're going to have fun with you, and the next thing you see them, they've got this passenger guy. Anyway, we'll find out later on. But
the cliffhanger
is wild.
Oh, looky! Oh, I'm gonna expose them to pure time. I wonder how long they'll last before they're completely destroyed. When I snap my fingers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And he snaps.
And then the show ends.
He snaps on the.
Oh no! What will? How will Yaz and Vinder get out of this one? And now is when we get to talk about just one of the all-time chef's kiss level takes of bad media literacy.
Uh-oh.
As demonstrated by the Radio Times. Which the Radio Times, lovely publication, was nice enough to quote my dumb tweet about the next Doctor Who being the winner of Wimbledon. But gotta call it as I see it. This is dumb. There's basically a take by someone, and we'll link it down below, I guess, if you want to read it.
No, we won't link it. I'm not going to give it publicity. Just talk about it.
Okay. We're not going to link it.
Yourself.
Find it yourself. It basically is arguing that the next time trailer for the next episode, Once Upon Time, kind of ruins the cliffhanger because it's like, oh, well, clearly they're all going to make it out of this one. So the dramatic element of the cliffhanger has been spoiled by the trailer,
Did they miss the part where Yaz turned into an old white man? Which also, holy shit, that is way too on par with, Chibnall's, dreams. So please don't do that.
I have no idea what's going on with that.
But two things to this. First,
honestly, you know what I think is going to happen? I think they're going to pull a Clara again. And Yaz is going to be spread out in pieces throughout time that the Doctor has to find.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about a very different thing, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But two things. First of all, the next time trailers are right after the credits. So if you theoretically do not want to see the next time trailer, you can shut it off after the credits and not look at it and not engage in discourse around the episodes and just go into it next week going, well, how are they going to get out of this one? But secondly, the bigger point, trailer doesn't spoil the fact that they're going to be alive. Any media literacy will prove that they're alive. Again, like I said, the cliffhanger game is not if they're going to survive, it's how they're going to get out of this one.
Yeah, exactly. As it is with 90% of all Doctor Who cliffhangers.
Now, there's a 1% chance that Chibnall does a complete fucking swerve and just kills Yaz here, but no! We're not going to do that. That would be terrible, and I don't think even Chibnall will go to that level.
I mean, if anything, the trailer is reassuring that he won't do that, which is reassuring for people that don't want Yaz to die.
Maybe this is why they never confirmed that Yaz is in lesbian with the Doctor, because then Chibnall would be like, time to kill her.
What? The quantum representation. But yeah, I mean, if you're watching,
gay.
If you're watching Doctor
the
Who,
Q in LGBTQ stands for quantum.
if you're watching cliffhanger-based Doctor Who and you're thinking, "Oh, anyone could die at any moment," ooh, this cliffhanger's rather shocking. You're not watching Doctor. You're not in the right show here.
I wasn't expecting the Q in LGBTQ to stand for quantum.
So, though you mentioned Clara, I will say, if Chibnall did kill Yes, it would almost be like, it would be playing straight, pun unintended, what Face the Raven subverted, where it's like, oh, she was too doctorish and she died for her hubris. Lesson learned, kids. Never try to be the Doctor. But I think, that being said, we should wrap up. So, overall thoughts on War of the Sontarans? Kat?
I mean, it's one of those episodes that I kind of like, and I also am kind of apprehensive about. Most of the apprehension comes from the actual ending itself, because who knows where the hell Chibnall is going with all this bullshit. Hopefully not directly into the ground. But if it is, I'm going to give him a shovel so you can start digging faster. The jokes were good. Characters were good. I like the historical characters as well, which is, not really on par usually for Chibnall. Usually other people have to write the people of color for him. I mean, it's nice to see Yaz actually doing something. The little thing written on her hand was cute. Maybe don't just do Clara 2.0, but fine, whatever. So yeah, I'm apprehensive about next time just because, Cybermen, but I'm hopeful.
Yeah, so I'm mostly in the same boat. It was an adequate episode of Doctor Who with some actual pretty good jokes, and some surprisingly deft avoidance of the usual Chibnall potholes, where you had Mary Seacole who didn't get mind wiped at the end, and Yaz had a character and kind of Clara-esque, not entirely like a rip-off of Clara that makes me cynically roll my eyes and go, oh god, here we go again, reminding me Clara existed. But it was a fine episode of Doctor Who written by Chris Chibnall. Actually kind of impressive for him. I guess I'd put it on the upper spectrum of Chris Chibnall penned episodes, because it was good, it was funny, and there were parts that weren't that offensive. The whole Temple of Atropos and adding more setup instead of paying off some other stuff is kind of troubling and worrying, as is whatever the hell he's going for, but I have hopes that we will wrap it up. We will, well, not wrap it up, but answer some things in part 3, even though it's got Cybermen in it, and y'all know how I feel about Chibnall written Cybermen, so ugh. But adequate, good, enjoyable. As the Sontar... Hell, that's like what the Sontaran says to the other guy. Chibnall has done adequately.
He certainly has. Yeah, he certainly has done adequately. I think he's done better than adequately, personally. I quite enjoyed this one, really. I think he nailed the Sontarans by and large. He certainly nailed Mary Seacole. Dan's antics are hilarious and an absolute highlight of the episode. I'm concerned about the Temple of Atropos leading into the next episode, and my two main complaints are that the Sontarans were removed from the plot too easily, and the whole thing with the General and him not dying and not achieving redemption in that way, but I can allow that. So far, so good with Flux, honestly. So far, so good. And now I've said that...
see how he messes it up next time.
Now I've said that, I'm worried about this episode because it's Once Upon Time, that's its name, and this looks like classic Chibnall.
Yeah, and not in a good way.
Nope. I mean, the title's clever, now we know that time's a planet, but... it's a bit similar to Twice Upon a Time.
I guess. It feels honestly like he thought of the title and then he was just like, okay, so, you know what? Now we have a planet called Time.
Yeah.
Great.
But I expect a lot of some of the plot strands to start making a lot more sense now, and this is like going to be like a mid-season finale almost.
It's Chibnall. I have no.
This
hope.
is going to be his good man goes to war.
The Cybermen are here. The Angels are here. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I'm kind of terrified for it, honestly.
Yeah.
Hopefully something will happen, because right now we have a lot of questions and no answers.
Yeah.
I have very little hope for good with the Cybermen, but it's sort of a grin and bear it situation. So,
Unlike the Higurashi anime, I am not willing to wait for season 2 to figure out what the answers are to all this.
Oh, God.
There's a cut.
That's a deep cut.
Rainiac, where can you find us, lovely people?
You can find us on Twitter @ReviewsDoctor. You can find us individually at Concave Usurper, Freezing Inferno, and at Rainiac the Maniac. And all that really remains is to thank you for listening to us talk about War of the Sontarans and our dread fears for next time. Once upon a time. They said once upon a time there. Thank you to Kat and to Jerry for talking with me about War of the Sontarans. I had a lot of fun with this one. And join us next time for Once Upon Time. Please be good. Until then, bye for now.
And bye Back to the 11th Hour by Kristen McTeer.